So, a few weeks back, I gave my first impressions on Fallout 76, and a lot of people really seemed to enjoy that, as it quickly became the most viewed video on my channel, actual content-wise. That is until I made that video on Doom 2016, which quickly overtook it. Which, I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. At first, I thought it was probably because of timing and not because of my dog's breakfast content, but I digress. I haven't played all the content available, but I have played the main quest line as well as a large amount of what's available as of now, if we're talking about side quests. And as such, I now know enough to feel comfortable in accurately delivering a full-ish review, at the very least a more in-depth review than the one I released a couple weeks ago. So I figured I'd come here and let it all spill out of my mouth onto the concrete. Okay, bad read. Give me a second, I'll think of something better. If you're not yet familiar with my channel, I do continuously cover Fallout 76 and video games in general, but the Fallout franchise has a special place in my heart, so I do tend to pay a lot of attention to that franchise. But if that's not what you want to see, you should let me know in the comments down below what you do want to see. I know you probably hear this a lot from other people, but I can't get any better without your help. Alright, now that that's out of the way, what do I 100% think about Wastelanders and Fallout 76 as a whole as of right now? Before we get started, I'd like to thank Chilltrap for allowing me to use his music, and somebody different for making the thumbnail this week. Let me know in the comments if you like this thumbnail. It was made by The Black Forecast, who's a pretty funny guy. We've been talking here recently. Yeah, he made the thumbnail this week. I thought I'd try something new, so yeah. You guys let me know how you thought. I thought it looked really nice, so yeah. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, to start off, my opinions that I have as of right now are certainly subject to change, as Bethesda has said that this game is gonna constantly go through some changes as it grows, and they put more work into it. So I do plan to continue making videos like this one, but overall, is Fallout 76 post-Wastelanders a good game now that my rose-colored glasses have been removed? Well, maybe. Let me explain. I have played through the main quest line, and while the game isn't great, it is in no way the perfection that I was hoping for or that I made it out to be a few weeks ago. But that said, I still think everyone, well, everybody who owns the game at least, should absolutely give this game a go. But did I like it? Well, yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. I'm just nervous that this isn't going to age all that well. In no way am I trying to say that the game itself, namely Fallout 76, isn't going to age terribly well. Actually, quite the opposite. I think they can only really go up from this point. But I think that the hype levels are certainly affecting the large majority of people's perception of this game, as well, I know it definitely clouded my judgment in the past. I have got a pretty good idea as to why this might be, but more on this later. I mean, look at the Steam ratings. I've been playing this game for almost 2 years and I wouldn't give it a mostly positive review. Now I can see the comments already. You're just a hater, Noah. The game is good and you don't know what I've done. I've played this game for almost 2 years at this point. Does that sound like I don't know what I'm talking about? Don't at me, fella. Come at me. You want to throw hands? Ah! Anyways, what I was trying to say before all of that devolved into madness is I don't really think that this DLC has that long of a shelf life, to be honest. What I mean is, what you have happening as of right now is we have a bunch of people that haven't played the game since launch, coming into the game and seeing the improvements made to the game since the last time they've played. And while yes, the game is certainly not bug-free, for people comparing this game to how it was on launch day, the difference is night and day. That said, once they spend their time with the game, flaws, of which there are many, start rearing their ugly heads, but that's enough. One of the biggest reasons I say that this game is good has got to be just how much it feels like a Fallout game. And yes, that might sound like a weird thing to say, as this has always been a Fallout game, at least on a technical level that is, but my point is that while the game was titled Fallout 76, it never really felt like a Fallout game, as, well, in Fallout, the people are the lifeblood of the game. On paper, it's a novel concept, sure. The idea that we as people would rule the wasteland and decide what we did or didn't do instead of waiting around for the leader of a faction to tell us what's what. But in execution, it always just felt lazy. After all, if you think about it, if you don't have any NPCs, you don't really have to pay voice actors. And the lack of people in the world really aided in removing the identity from this game as a whole, but I digress. Now that this game has people, now that this game has a personality, I cannot stop playing it. I played it a couple hours yesterday and just before breakfast today even, and right now, as we speak, I want to go back and play the game. And if I'm being completely honest, it's been a long time since any game, let alone a flagship Fallout title, has done that for me, and I think I know why that is. Right before this DLC was released, I told myself, Noah, you're gonna be honest. If this game isn't good, you're not gonna play it. You've dealt with this game's crap for far too long. The game's gotta have a good story. The pacing had to not be out of whack. The bugs, oh my lord, the bugs. They need to fix some of the lingering issues in the game, like the ever-so-present graphical issues, without introducing a plethora of new bugs. Sadly, something that's not too unexpected from Bethesda. Perhaps the single most important concern of them all. I was not going to deal with another Fallout Firsts or a $7 fridge situation, but I'll get to all of that in a minute. First of all, if you've watched my other videos on this subject, and by the way, if you haven't, you totally should, you would know that I started off as a beginning character from my initial playthrough. And switching back to my relatively high-level character, I have noticed that your playthrough and, well, the experience therein will vary drastically depending on how you play the game and how you've played it in the past, if you have at all. I think this shows pretty well that Bethesda took time to consider the fact that both those who have been playing this game constantly for the past year and a half, and those who haven't touched the game since launch, if ever would be playing this game, as the experiences are pretty different between the two, as it should be, honestly. What I mean is, whether you go into this DLC as a noob or a veteran, the game and the people therein will certainly notice and treat you accordingly. There are more than a few situations where being an experienced player of this game lets you just plow through a large chunk of the fluff that a new player may need or want to experience, as, for example, in rather early stages of the game, there is a robot that is prompting you to do such and such for a quest, and one of the text options is basically just, such and such is for the military? Well, I work for the Enclave, so gimme gimme, which is not only funny, to me at least, but a genius way to avoid plot holes and frustrations all around. And this happens all the time, whether it's a legit quest or just the ever-so-abundant random encounters within the game, and I really love it. It helps with immersion immensely. Moving on though, something I really enjoyed is the dialogue. I touched on this in my last video, but I can't get over the changes that they've made to the dialogue system. The voice acting isn't by any means perfect, but with that said, it never really was bad enough to break immersion or anything like that.
I was starting to get bored too. Hope you managed to repair that old holotape.
Additionally though, not only was the voice acting pretty good, but the writing as well. The writing in this game allows for many different routes through the dialogue system. If you want to say two things and be done like a conversation, as people do sometimes, that's always an option. Conversely, if you want to dig in and find some lore, again, that's also an option. As I said previously, I've really enjoyed the dialogue system, so I'm not going to dig into it further than what I already have today. And I gotta say, it's probably one of my favorite in any Fallout game as of yet. Bethesda has added some stuff to their cesspool that is available on the Atomic Shop. Now, do I wish that some of these items were less useful? Absolutely. I mean, personally, other than in-game items that I've received, I've never purchased a thing from the Atomic Shop, strictly because I don't support it. To be honest, we could talk about pay-to-win microtransaction in an online game that consistently costs $60. And why that's legitimately senile until not only the cows come home, but until their cows come home as well. So there isn't much for me to say that hasn't already been said in the past. However, I will say that this is stupid. This game still has some very major problems with it, so do not go out and buy a copy if you don't already own one, and good night. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. You guys have no idea how happy it makes me that the last Doom video, it's got like over 300 views as of the time of recording. That's ridiculous. I've got like, I don't know, like 36 subscribers or something like that. I have no idea how or why we have that many views on that video, but hey, I'm not complaining. Additionally, I'd like to thank the Black Forecast. He's in my featured channels list. He made the thumbnail for this week's video. So yeah, go check him out. His link will be in the description. Yeah, LDL and Beats, you know, provides the music. It's freaking awesome, man. I really appreciate it. You need to know that. It's crazy. I really do appreciate that you guys watch these videos. I really do. Try to spread the word of this channel, because if we're getting over 300 views on one video, people are clearly interested, so those subscription would help. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys continue to watch these videos. I've got another video next week, not really too sure what it's going to be about as of right now, but of course this video is scripted ahead of time, so by the time this is released, I'll probably already have been writing the script for it. So yeah, while you wait for next week's video, go check out some of my other ones while you wait. But if you don't, guys, remember, no one cares.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!